Are you ready, ladies? Alright, let's do this. I'm Brock McLaughlin, and today we're reviewing Gravity Rush 2. The internet's favorite PlayStation Vita game is back with a sequel, this time in stunning 60 frames per second, HDI melting beautylicious, all for the PlayStation 4. It took me a while to cave, but over the holidays I finally gave the first Gravity Rush a try. Immediately following that, I watched the anime that takes place between the first and second game, and then finally did I dive into the second game. PlayStation sent me a review copy weeks ago, and I've had a lot of time to spend with the game, and it's safe to say, a lot of people are going to love this game. I'm just not one of them. This is no mere continuation of the series, but it's a huge leap forward with everything upgraded and improved. I mean, how many games are born on a portable system get an official sequel on a home console? It's an exciting game, but it has its problem. Gravity Rush 2 is an action-adventure that takes place a few months from where the last game let off. The game world is certainly much bigger, there's plenty to do, characters to meet, Nevi to destroy, and ores to mine, but I just can't get past the game's biggest pitfalls: the controls and the camera. I mean, if you thought the camera was horrendous in Final Fantasy 15, you're probably gonna lose your shit over this. The gravity parts are cool, and they do make you feel like Supergirl, but I found myself so angry that I couldn't do simple motions that I set out to do. I spent about 20 plus hours with this game, and still don't think I have a firm grasp on the controls and the handling. That's not to say it's a bad thing, but it does frustrate me. It would be hard to get my mind in the mindset to play through a game when I knew I was going to fail over and over because I couldn't line up the camera fast enough to get to the action. And don't even get me started on the time-based missions. Man, after the 7th or 8th time I would fail those, I would need a hard stop. Hell, I'll let you in on a secret. I took an edible because I thought that would make the game controls easier to grasp, but that just fucked me up even more. I was flying all over the screen, and to me I wasn't having any fun, which is a shame because I have so many nice things to say about the game. In fact, I really like the game. Let me make this clear. I think Gravity Rush is a fantastic adventure game, but the controls and camera really let me down. The game starts after a gravity storm rocks Hexville, sending Kat and Sid to a strange mining settlement called Banga Village. The mining settlement is small, but it's chock full of life. Characters are everywhere, going about their day-to-day routine. You can interact with most of them, which will pull up a comic book feel sort of narrative. Kat can also chat with the inhabitants via throwing up gang signs, smiling, creeping up behind them and scaring them, waving, etc. There's plenty to do, and it makes the NPCs feel like real people. The world feels just alive. It also involves a lot of flying to get to different areas. Our planets are stacked upon each other. It's an interesting concept. Flying as high as you can go and just base jumping off the tallest point in the world is just a real thrill. Watching Kat propel herself towards the ground is exhilarating. It's in those moments that I can let the camera just do its thing and I won't miss any of the action. I can just watch her fall and take a look at all the scenery around me, and there's so much detail crammed into this game. Kat will depend on 3 different gravity styles to get around. These include the original style from the first game, with Lunar and Jupiter being the new abilities. Lunar increases Kat's speed while making her lighter, giving her the ability to jump higher, while Jupiter will make Kat feel heavy, giving her attacks more oomph. Simply hitting the touchpad will change up the styles. I found it hard to time and control the lunar jumps. The controls felt a little too sensitive, and I found myself falling over the edge over and over. Now thankfully the game doesn't restart you back too far, so you can learn as you go, but it is annoying. The battle system is decent, but I was never floored. It's extremely quick and hectic. You'd think again like Final Fantasy 15, but for the most part it was hard to keep track of what was happening. I hardly ever felt overwhelmed, that if I needed health, I'd just flee the battle and search for some down the way. These were indicated by green spheres. This wasn't much of a problem as health was usually just relatively close, especially around big battles. I kept thinking to myself that this game would have made more sense with rechargeable life versus finding and collecting health in battle. It feels like the type of game where taking cover and fighting should restore health. That might be an unpopular choice, but I think it'd make the battles more interesting. Even a potion system would have been better. I hated accidentally collecting health as it took away from the intensity of battle. Enemies include Nevi, which are different forms of monsters. Usually want to aim for their eyes or shiny pink orange bubbly parts. Those are the weak points. Enemy designs were cool, but they all kind of suffered the same weaknesses and were usually pretty slow. You can also take on human soldiers who literally just shoot rubber bullets, and they're mechs. The mechs are cool, they reminded me of Titanfall, and they really gave some edge and almost wore me down. The main missions and overall story is pretty good. I love how the story weaves toward anime cutscenes, graphical cutscenes, and just comic book panels. The game is so rich in character, with such big personalities, and I enjoyed interacting with them. I found myself doing a fair bit of laughing during side quest missions, especially at some of the one-liners and jokes. I would read a comic book series based on Gravity Rush in a heartbeat. The side missions range from fun to just downright tedious. Finding some rich guy who's hiding out from his servants was fun. Watering some ladies' trees, not so much. There was a nice balance in missions though, and I'll give the players plenty to do once the story is ended. The main missions really help push forward the story, and I must say, it really wasn't that confusing to follow. Everything was explained quite nicely. I found myself at the edge of my seat for a lot of it. Main quests usually involve mining, learning new skills, and completing tombstone requests, and then ending up fighting a large-scale battle. The mining was definitely not fun, but it works in the game, as Kat is such a nice person, just wants to help where she can, despite the missions just being downright mundane. The action really gets going after a few hours, and I definitely suggest not giving up on it early. The more I played, the more fun I had with it, but I couldn't ever get a handle on the damn controls. But once the world starts opening up, and you can explore and go in all these different nooks and crannies, there's a lot of fun to be had. I have plenty of side missions still to complete, but I'm not going to rush back and finish them anytime soon. I'm genuinely interested in the further development of these characters and this world that's been created because I think they're absolutely outstanding. If the combat system was a bit more deep and I had more things to do and the camera controls got reworked, I'd be back in a moment's notice. I think there's a lot there, and I think people are really going to enjoy the game if they can get a hold of the camera and the controls. It's kind of the same as Last Guardian. I really like Last Guardian once I figured out the control and how the camera worked and how you interacted, and I just couldn't get it here. It just would not work with me. And for that, I want to see more. I think there's a lot of potential here. Thanks for watching. Hit subscribe, please. Ask away in the comments below your questions, your concerns. I'm happy to answer them. And thanks to Sony for sending over a copy of the game early so we could get this review to you. Keep coming back. 2017 is looking tight. Peace.